Be a surprise.
It will be a surprise.
We don't make
Hello.
mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Hello, YouTube. I'm here with Mr. Joel Park. How are you doing, Joel?
10 out of 10. Maybe even 11 out of 10 today.
That's a high number. What is 11 out of 10 about today?
Well, I don't have to work at Initech today. Well, I guess I go there by choice at this point, but
you're going to
it's going to be like 50 degrees today, which is nice.
Oh, that's warm for you Northerners.
60s,
huh?
Low 60s, yes.
For you people who live in the North.
And I've got a lot of blammo, and I'm going to the range and train after we get done with this.
That's perfect. All right. Yes. So a good training day for you. I also have very nice weather here. I'm going to the range tomorrow, the next day, and the day after.
What a coincidence.
Then I get on a plane and I fly to Texas, and I'll be meeting you in Dallas.
Yeah.
So that should
if
be
you're
great.
lucky. If I don't leave you at the altar, you'll be like, yeah, I'm here at this gate to be picked up. I'll be like, oh, Ben, I'm at the range. Where are you?
I'm like, oh, that would be a bummer. All right. So we've just come off a series of a couple courses. We've fired the training back up this year, and we have new classes coming. So before we talk about what we did in training, let's talk about what we have upcoming. In the Arizona area, well, in the state of Arizona, near-ish Phoenix and near-ish Tucson and Casa Grande, we're standing up a bunch of courses.
Yes.
All right. So now that I'm in Phoenix this time of year, I've gotten a lot of emails. Somebody said like, hey, Ben, private training this, or hey, Ben, do a course that, or whatever. It's difficult. Like some of the ranges here are difficult to get stuff scheduled for a lot of reasons. They're very busy. There's a lot of people that want them, but we've got it worked out. So we've got every month we're going to have a week's worth of dates in Casa Grande when the temperature is okay for that. We're not doing this in August.
No, it'll be very nice.
It'll be 11 billion degrees in August here.
Yeah, it's close to Phoenix or Tucson. So it's a nice place. Like if you want to bring the family kind of thing, it'll be nice to escape. Well, dude, like during those months, I won't want to likely be shooting at home because it could be 30 degrees, could be snow on the ground, whatever. So you get to go to a nice place where the weather's favorable and the range conditions are favorable. So.
Right. So those dates are blocked off now on bensteiger.com. We will have courses and dates, and the curriculum we haven't even decided. It might be like fundamentals class. It might be skills and drills type stuff. It might be a rifle thing. It might be pistol rifle combo, whatever. We don't care. Like we're very open-minded. But what you should know now is we have the dates and a little bit of a home base. So in Casa Grande, Arizona, that is where we're going to be doing a lot of courses. With that, Joel, let's talk about the courses we just did.
It was fun.
It's always fun, right?
No, it's fun. It's it's different because you get a vastly different group of people in some senses. Well, how about the median will be the same? Like there'll be like a medium group, but there'll be sometimes there's super high performers, sometimes there's still people getting up to speed and everywhere in between. When I talk about shooting, I'm rambling, but I mean you get everything from construction workers, tattoo artists, and personal killers or professional killers all in the same class, which is super fun because you have a wide variety of shooting skills, abilities, how they've been trained or lack of training. So anyway, there's takeaways from pretty much every class just because we interact with a wide variety of people.
Yeah, very wide variety. So the courses that we did in Texas, they were just north of Austin. Yeah, So let's talk about it, Joel. I know you made a list and you refused to share it with me before we started. So number one on your list, what's the number one thing that Joel Park learned?
Well, I mean, it's probably things I continue to learn, but I just wrote down, you won't understand it until you try it. So like people want to talk about, they want to talk about occlusion. Have you tried it? Well, no. I'm like, all right, we don't really have much to talk about. Right?
Well, I see that a lot on the internet, especially on YouTube. It's like, hey, you should try, you can sit here and be like, yep, you should try occlusion. Here we go. Here's an occluded Glock for me. We should talk about the internet hall monitors who just don't like that I picked up
your fingers in the trigger.
Your fingers on the trigger there, Sonny.
It's very unsafe to me.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, first rule of gun safety is have fun, dude. But yeah,
Obviously.
So they'll see this like, why is this way? Why are you occluding this? And then you explain it. Like it says not that complicated. Talk about it for a couple minutes, and then people look at you and nod and be like, okay. And then, but that's it. Like on YouTube, people will watch you talk about this endlessly and never try it.
Right.
Never try it.
Let's talk about the doubles drill, Ben. So we give it's a class demo, like this is what the drill is. Explain kind of what, like the principle base of how we want your hands to contact the firearm, like the pressures you should be using, and just kind of talk about what you're likely to experience, what could go right, what could go wrong. Within 5 minutes, we have people on the line shooting these rapid fire pairs at a pace that's probably uncomfortable for some people, especially
Definitely.
people that shoot with a high amount of accountability, like for a professional, job. It's like, oh, this is wild, these fast pairs.
Yes.
But then we do that, do a few repetitions, and then we get everybody together and talk about it. All of a sudden, we have a lot more to talk about because people are like, oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about. I understand now. This makes sense. But if we could sit there and talk to people for 30 minutes about this, and they're not going to fully get what we're saying until they actually experience it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, that and it's at a certain point, talking becomes almost counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just they'll be like, well, what about this and that? Like, what about this thumb? Or like, what about curling my middle finger? Or what about
it's like the finger on the front
this
of the
other
trigger
guy
guard.
said, yeah, should I torque my hand like this? Or okay, why don't we just try shooting and experience it, and then instead of like having some theories about how you're going to do it, we just get a lot more knowledge from actually practicing and actually trying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the confirmation system we use is another one that's like, so I want you to shoot, like, I want you to try the aiming scheme when you just see color red from your sight on the target and fire. People are like, yeah, okay, I don't, they kind of like think in their brain the way they think it's supposed to work or what's supposed to happen, or maybe they think it's not going to be accurate, or, people come up with all kinds of crazy ideas. So you just try it and they get the result and like, oh, okay. But it's like, we could talk about that all afternoon, or you could just try it and then we talk about what you take away from it.
Yes. So yeah, the people being unwilling to try stuff, and that's one of the best things about being an instructor. So we'll put full classes on YouTube for free. But you know what? It's not like people won't go through and do the drills. It doesn't matter. They'll come to class, like people will come to class and have watched class dumps on YouTube, but not done the stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they just do the stuff under supervision. I am fine with that, but I know, like, I'm very secure in my job because people are they're lazy. They don't do stuff on their own a lot.
Or people are concerned like other instructors are going to rip off the program. Like, bro, half of them can't even explain the doubles drill properly or do the drill properly.
I'm not too worried about it.
It'll be okay.
They have no idea.
Like, I've seen written descriptions of what doubles is. I'm like, okay, nope, that doesn't really make sense what you're saying, and that's not how it works. So anyway, what's first on your list, Ben?
I didn't make one. This is just I'm just screwing with you, Joel.
Oh, all right then.
No, I'm just letting Joel Park talk. You come on here and give me the good takeaways, because I feel like my students teach me.
This was a clever little ploy you did, sir.
It was clever. Do you like that?
I'm not really that surprised.
Yeah. We're just talking about what Joel has learned.
All right. Well, this is probably stuff I've learned before, but it's worth talking about.
Yes.
Another one we're talking about is people will say they understand even if they don't.
Can't believe, like, you can't believe people. And
you have to read them.
Yes, you can't believe people. And that's when somebody has like a really long email or a comment or a long training group post, and it's all this, like, they're giving you a bunch of conclusions. Like, everything is filtered through their perceptions, but they're giving you conclusion after conclusion after conclusion about all this different stuff that they're doing. They're like, oh, when I do this and that, like, this happens with my grip, and I do this and that, like, this happens. And you just like look at that and you're like, yeah, this could be totally wrong. It could be totally wrong. You can't trust any of that. You're not seeing it happen. You're just trusting someone's perception of what they're doing. Right? And that is what they are discussing.
Yeah, and your perception can't be trusted. Like, unless you have a trained eye. I don't trust my own
perceptions a lot of the time.
You need video.
Did that feel faster? Well, I mean, it might have felt faster, but not been faster. Like, I've been doing this a long enough. Like, I know not to necessarily trust my own perceptions of things, let alone someone else's.
Yeah. Like, do you have video or is it on a timer?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, people will say they understand even if they don't. So reading their body language, they'll be like, "Oh, okay." Like, "Yep, this guy did not understand any of it." Like, we got more stuff to talk about. That happens everywhere, by the way.
Yes, of course.
That's important to like read body language and see like how they're responding to the words you're saying, and you can tell if it clicks or not. Nope, let's talk about it a different way then, and you could explain it 3 or 4 different ways. Or how about this? Oftentimes people will have an idea in their head, and regardless of what you say, like their idea is what is like driving the conversation anyway, or their thought process.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So for instance, let's say you have it in your brain, getting the gun from your holster to being on target, like that speed is what's going to make a fast draw. Like the movement of how fast you can shove the gun out in front of you.
Is that
Like
not the case?
maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But sometimes people have that kind of stuff in their brain, like, nope, I have to sling the gun up to eye level, and I'm gonna, or they're people do like this goofy thing where they're like they bring the gun up in front of their face, they can pick up the sight easier while they're extending it towards the target. So anyway, people have like those kind of concepts in their brain, and you have to actually like attack that idea or address their thought process before you can relay the information you want to relay. Because otherwise, like I could give somebody the right answer, be like, no, this is about finesse. This isn't about shoving the gun in front of your face. But until you actually like attack and discuss their concept of why they think it's important to shove the gun up like fast on the draw, they're going to keep thinking the way they think anyway.
Sure. And then you also understand a lot of the times people do stuff that they don't necessarily perceive that they're doing, and they don't really know why they're doing it. So this becomes difficult to have these conversations.
So oftentimes I'll record. Well, it was good to talk about. There's a guy, every time he'd move, you'd see like the shoulders would go down and like the feet would kick outwards. So what's the answer to that? Obviously, start with a low, wide, and aggressive stance. Whatever. So like I just started videoing without really saying anything. And so he does this. He's like, I didn't do it that time, did I? I'm like, yep, you did. Like, here's the video. And then he's like, oh, I think I finally got rid of it. I'm like, nope. Feet need to be wider.
Video.
Yep, like here's the video. I'm like, how about the class? I'm like, did he do it? And everybody's like, yeah, he did it. And the guy's like, what the hell? Okay. But this is like, he thought he was doing the thing right. And he was really trying, but it's like, nope. Feet have to be spread apart. Knees have to be bent.
And he's not a stupid person either.
No,
it's not about that. It's just like, it's very difficult to get yourself to do what you want when you're shooting at speed, under pressure, especially with an audience.
People are watching you. You want to do it right. Yeah, 100%. So like doing the video, we just have it's a good group discussion then, because it's like, hey, what you think you're doing isn't always what's actually happening.
What's happening.
You can just have a little quick group chat. That's why using video is really good. Having a training partner is really good if they know what they're talking for. So anyway, all these little side conversations happen as a group. But yeah, anyway.
Yes. All right.
What's the third one on your list, Ben?
Well, I don't know. You tell me, Joel. What's the third one on my list?
What did I just typed out some nonsense and hope you'd buy it. Well, obviously, class environments create a lot of group learning, and mistakes are shared, which of course makes sense. But the other thing I really noticed is, like, especially pro grip, like grip enhancer and skateboard tape, there's such a small percentage of people that have actually experimented with both of those products. Like grip enhancer costs like basically no money. It's like $8 for like a container of that. If you haven't tried that, you're serious about shooting, you should. But so many people like, oh, here, try this out. And like, oh, what is this? I can actually grip the gun properly now. It's like, yep, like you should be using this.
Well, I mean, let's talk about this, because those two things that you said sound disconnected, but they're very related.
Mm-hmm.
So the group environment is good. So when you're in a class, other people are watching you and you're watching other people.
Mm-hmm.
This is good in a lot of ways, where, like, for example, we had a guy who's an instructor show up, but he's watching what we're doing, and it's very different than the stuff he teaches.
Way different.
And then he's watching other people in the class, and he's like, oh, like, just the environment was very good. Right? I mean, just being around people that they're very comfortable shooting at this pace, that he's just like, whoa, I don't know what's happening here, or shooting with a certain level of precision, where, again, we liked this instructor, right?
Yeah, he was awesome.
We both liked this guy.
Yeah.
But it's like his shooting wasn't it wasn't very good. But
he was trying to get on the program.
He's just trying to get on the program. That's right. So he comes to the class and just seeing the environment, like, this is the skill levels of these people. This is the way they're getting talked to. Whereas it might be a weird experience for a lot of people if they see the way like a Joel Park will talk to a B class shooter, who B class is like in the world of shooting, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you would talk to them in a class, you'd be like, it'd be like this or that, or whatever they're doing would be just unacceptable to you. You're like, hey, this is unacceptable for this reason. Like, we got to work on this, or like that stuff does change people's perception of what good shooting is and what good shooting looks like.
Sure.
I mean, truly.
Yes.
And it's a very good thing. The class, like just the environment of a class. Like, I've come to prefer small groups to privates. I used to think like private lessons were the best, but I really don't think so anymore. Like, a small group is kind of the best, where you get a lot of instructor attention, but there's still this dynamic where there's other people shooting. And it could be a little bit competitive. It could be a little bit just kind of getting in the vibe of watching good shooting. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, a tangent. I don't know if you remember, this would be like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. There's this guy named Jerry, and Jerry's kind of absent-minded. It was in an Omaha class, kind of absent-minded. You won't be listening to this, I can assure you. He's probably D class in skill level. And anytime Ben gave correction to somebody, he is there like all ears. And I can tell he's thinking like, do I do that? Should I be doing this differently? Does this apply to me? And that happens a lot in classes. It just struck me, because like I could tell like this guy is completely paying attention. He knows he doesn't, he's like, he's got some skill to gain. But like people like that, they're all ears. And when you give one person, as you know, Ben, you give one person feedback, you're giving the entire group feedback.
In a sense, yeah.
And that's good, because when people pay attention, they'll be like, hey, I think I do that also.
Well,
I was thinking that question also.
Sometimes that's good, but sometimes I have to whisper in someone's ear, like, this is just for you. I want you to shoot this speed. Just do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I don't want other people hearing that, where I'm like, you're telling this guy to do what? I'm like, no, it's just for him.
Yep. This is true.
Well, Joel, this is great. I do appreciate it. So upcoming, we have classes going to be stood up in Casa Grande. They're going to be organized through Training Group, pstg.us, to click take a class.
You don't have to be a member to access that page, by the way.
Yeah, so it's not just for Training Group members. It's just the take a class page. We have an online cart system and the credit card process. That's why courses get organized through Training Group, by the way. So pstg.us for the Casa Grande courses, bensteger.com. If you click on take a class, if you want to scroll down, see my calendar. Joel Park Training, that's right.
True. Big facts.
JoelParkTraining.com if you want to take a look at where Joel's going to be at. We are often in the same place, but sometimes not.
That is the thing.
Never know. Joel's got to go do his high-speed special forces training without me this year.
Indeed.
You're going to get trained up. You're getting ready. I love it. These big special forces dudes just getting tuned up by an IT nerd such as Joel Park. That is correct. That is hysterical to me. So yep, check out those spots for courses, and I think that's pretty much it, isn't it, Joel?
I think so.
I really appreciate you coming on and giving me all the answers to all of the questions.
Can't believe you did that. You're such a turd.